SD Banshee. Hey, what's up again everybody? It's Robert, 184, 2Rs2Bs, gundam.tk, and I'm very excited today to be bringing you a look at this SD BB Senshi Unicorn Gundam. The number 2 machine is full frontal, knocks out his old self here. It's the Banshee Super Deformed. March 2013 release. Great looking cover art here showing off both modes from Bandai, the name in English and Japanese, and yes, you want to talk about a successful line? 380 in the BB Senshi line, 1200 yen. You can get the SD, HG, UC, MG, and more. Hobby Link Japan, links down below, and don't forget to check out the unboxes right here. The good guy White Gundam goes back to the beginning, and starting with Zeta was a neat trick that they did with the bad guys in blue before they became good in white here. But we've seen this good-bad dichotomy carrying on throughout, and the Banshee, since its debut, first in the novels and then later in the OVA, has become a marketing monster. 3 high grades, a master grade titaniums, and now it's got a new SD that's going to be transforming to add to the fun. Box tour now, they're going to be focusing on the first pilot, Marida Cruz there, she of the Double Zeta clone fame, and you can see it here in its destroy mode, looking pretty fantastic, along with some tiny little shots down there of the anime. But basically what they're talking about is that it is going to be appearing with all sorts of gimmicks and details. You can see from the hands and the fact that it's going to have psycho frame on the inside, moving hips, the kind of thing that the old SD Gundams like the Crossbone couldn't even dream of. You can see down here the armed armor on either hand is going to have some play options. As for the transformation, and here it is in its destroy mode yet again as everything's coming out, with the psycho frame and the clear parts clearly on display. And here the transformation is going to be focused on, and something you always have to laugh at. The high-grade Universal Century does not transform, but the BB Senshi does. Nonetheless, it's going to have beam sabers there in hand, and this one, it's worth noting, is painted by a pro. So the plastic here is very well lined and just a little bit too yellow there, and it's going to be more of an offset, so we'll have to see what the actual plastic on the inside looks like. And here it is. If you just put it together like a lazy modeler like myself, you get to see this cool-looking stylus. It's going to say your choice of eyes between the cartoony SD ones or the more intimidating angry red ones down there. You're also going to be getting marking seals, so the Katoki Hajime influence has gone all the way down to the SD line there, and he's looking pretty good even on line with the yellow parts there for the neck and for the V-fin up above, whereas it's going to be clear orange on the inside. But there's some other great bonuses here as they're going to show it off. Why not have them flying all over the place on the base jabber if you want to go buy the Delta Plus, which is sold separately, and how's this for a bonus? You didn't get a set of cartoony eyes there for the Unicorn Gundam, so they're going to be putting them in green on this sticker sheet, so all the more reason to get them here as a pair. And how great does that look with the Delta Plus on a clear stand, the base jabber holding up the Banshee as they all go for a tumble in space there, and there it is, 379 Delta Plus to go along with the old school 360, well, old school now, Unicorn Gundam. Inside the box we go, where you're going to be treated to the A-plate there with 3 colors and some polycaps. Fair amount of seals, albeit less than the high-grade Universal Century Norn. A nice plate of clear orange there to go along with the navy blue that makes up the body. Here's the Banshee-specific parts here with the D and E plates, it looks like, to go along with the decals. And at the bottom is the regular manual there, and come March you can get a Banshee head and put the SD or the HDUC up on top of it, and it transforms. To the A-plate, which is going to be listed SD Unicorn Gundam here, and if you check the manual, there are going to be some wasted parts, you can imagine, as the beam magnum and the shield are going to fall by the wayside because he's got some armored armor slapped onto his arms there. Nonetheless, you can always go and put those together and just stick them in a Ziploc and keep them around. Anyway, in terms of colors, you can see that it's going to be navy blue around there for the majority of the body, but you are going to have some nice dark colors down there. It looks a little bit like it's got some luster to it. A little gunmetal-ish for the feet and for the back of the backpack there. And you've got a clear orange part up there that's going to be providing the goatee and the eyes. B-plate also SD Unicorn Gundam there. The navy blue is going to be going throughout, and you can see that there's going to be some different parts on there, along with a detach point there when Bandai's printing their plates. Still gotta love seeing clear parts, and this many going on the inside of an SD Gundam here. Some of them are going to get wasted here unless you put together the shield for yourself. But otherwise, the beam saber, even though that you're going to have the handle down there, being in clear parts as well, well, it's going to be hidden inside the hand anyway. And for an SD, what more would you expect? Nonetheless, you can see lots of good psycho frame details there that are going to look good and allow the transformation up there for the waist and for the shoulder parts where it's going to be especially visible. But it's on to the new and fun stuff here. D-plate SD Banshee specifically written out there. They're not going to be specifying Norn or either mode there. but you can see that you're going to have all the parts there for the Banshee V-fin as it's going to split apart, and the main part there when it's all nicely put together. And you're also going to be getting this very noticeable Banshee face mask down here in yellow to go along with this part, which actually has a hollowed out part there when you put it on for the neck. And it looks like it's not going to be lining so much if you want to put some black around that face mask as it is going to be edging. With the E-plate wrapping up the plastic here with SD Banshee specifically written for it, you can see the manipulators done up there in blue to go along with the hips, and underneath you are still going to have a hole, so you can plug that in and you can attach this onto an action base, which is going to be great for those kind of aerial poses. And you can see all the parts here for the armored armor, as you're going to have the claw for the left arm and the BS over there for the right hand side, including some parts that you can see are going to allow for movement. Lots of seals, but then again for an SD, definitely something that's sort of run-of-the-mill there. You've got the red part that you're going to be plugging in when you've got the yellow face mask up when he's actually in his unicorn mode there. Camera lenses of various sorts. There's two types of angry red eyes there to go along with the green set of eyes that you can pop in for the regular Gundam. And for this part, this is going to go over the middle part of the V-fin there, if you want to call it that, with some other additional gold trim stickers. And how about that? There's a lot of different stickers that you could put on, although the white on the regular white unicorn would not be particularly useful. But you've got RXO there, Anaheim Electronics down there, and then you can see the various armored armor, so you can actually go and put on the VN so that you can remember the names of the two different parts. A less cartoony manual here, SD BB Senshi, with some fantastic painted versions there on the front and on the back down there, and you can see that the height, it's going to be listed at 22 meters almost there, to go along with all the various armed armors there. And when you crack it open, it's going to be a 4-page manual with the X's that you can see, the beam magnum and the shield there, and you're going to be using these new legs down here that have been added on instead of the old legs that are going to be closed up and you have to sort of go and paint on yourself. And also the other parts for the shield, go ahead and use them up. Here's how you order parts, and you can see when you're going to be putting this all together, lots of attention going to be paid to the head. You're going to be putting it together in destroy mode, along with the backpack and the chest section. And once you've got all the armed armors on, he's ready to go here. Before the focus changes to the amazing transformation, amazing because it's on an SD Gundam, head off there, open up the flaps, move down the parts for the waist and swap off the shoulders there and just move them to an outer position, or an inner one here, in this case as you're going to the unicorn mode, and swing up these weapons. Close up this monkey's fist here, and you can take the head. You're going to be involving taking off the sides and swapping those around and just rotating them, which is all pretty normal there. The beam saber will fit in regular hand if you want to actually have him armed. He can have a beam saber there and the angry fist. And down here it's going to tell you exactly where to put on all the different decals if you want to. Anaheim Electronics, and they're even going to be showing you the top and the sides there and the back, and if you want to go ahead and paint it there, they're just going to be telling you to use GM45, this is cool, Seed Dark Blue down there, then Gundam Black, Gundam Gold, and Gundam Gray, so definitely a focus on keeping things simple, very fitting for an SD. With more color splash pages selling you on the kit that you've already seen here, beam saber in hand transforming between his two different modes, the Psycho frame looking good along with that BS and the VN, and then we can see some Universal Century photography down there, as the Delta Plus is going to be facing off. No Shinanju in this picture. Some talk about Anaheim Electronics and the Destroy mode before it's on to Comic World down here. As Banshee's going to be getting angry, led on by Full Frontal there. He's quite impressed with his new weapons, and they're going to be playing soccer for a box. Before he sends off, I like this, a BB Senshi limited weapon. He can send off his armored armor, VN, as a flying punch. He's going to get his hands on Laplace's box, and he's going to find, yes, Maneva Sabi. They've got some Gente items in there, limited items. He's going to open up the box, and yes, it's part of the fan club, only for them, and it looks like Full Frontal's the biggest fan. So lots of fun here for the unbox as the line between SD and high grade becomes more and more blurred in terms of price and quality, although definitely not in scale as it's clearly going to be super deformed. Nonetheless, it's great to see that they've got some improvements there, including the legs so that you can actually see some Psycho frame in there. But the transformation worked great for this guy, as you can see his green eyes, and even the bonuses that they're going to be giving you, like you can get angry eyes for, or happy eyes for the two of them there. And the manual is going to be doing a good job of keeping things light and fun while still being serious. If you just saw how many parts there are packed into the instructions there, compared to some of even the old master grades where most of the paper was just going to be white in front of you, definitely things have come a long way. And when you see the two colors here of the orange and the yellow there, a little bit disappointing. Of course, it would have been nice if they had chromed that up. But of course, the SD market is going to be torn in half between the serious people who are going to be wanting to build this up and put on things like decals, and the kids who are just going to want to have some fun with it. Anyway, everybody, stick around. Can't wait to see this all put together and compared to the Norn. Anyway, everybody, let me know what you think. See ya. It's got Marida Cruz on the box, but wouldn't it make more sense if that was Ride piloting the Banshee in that cartoon? I think you're reading too much into it.